right, my next guest, straight out of Missouri, second appearance on the show, Smitty the Kid. He's back on the show. What's
Yo,
good, man?
yo, what's cracking?
I'm good, man. Appreciate you,
Yeah.
and welcome back to the show, man. Great having you back.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be back, man.
Yeah, man. So, it was probably less than a year ago that you was on this show. Um, and obviously through the early stages of the pandemic, obviously. So how's everything
Mm-hmm.
going with you since then? You know, with the music you got out already. I mean, how's you feeling these days?
Things are getting good over here.
That's
They're getting
good,
pretty
man.
good. They lifted the mask mandate, so now everybody's running around without their mask and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm vaccinated, so we good. I ain't even phased by now.
All right. So I want to talk about some of the songs you put out recently. Um, the Bobby James joint. I want to start with that.
Yeah.
That's available on all digital music platforms. Talk
Yes,
about
sir.
recording that song, man, and how did it came together.
So like I made that one just solely based off of performing it. Like I wanted to just be wild and act as, and I never get the chance to like sit there and actually like talk like on some bravado type stuff. Usually more melodic than what I do, so I just said, you know what, this time I wanted to try something different, and it just came out that way.
Yeah, it definitely did, man. It's just got a bop to it. I definitely I dig that. So it's
Okay,
definitely a dope joint, and so everybody go check that out. Bobby James.
absolutely. We
Sometimes,
got the video coming for that one soon too.
okay,
A couple more things we're doing with that.
yeah,
I
I'll
think we
definitely
managed,
look forward
I think we
to it.
managed to get the video shoot shot, uh, and finally it's done. So that'll be getting released here in the next couple of weeks.
So be on the lookout for that Bobby James music video coming to you real
Yes,
soon.
sir.
And for
Oh
Smitty the
yeah.
Kid. Uh, so let's talk about the Fallen joint. That was your first release of 2021. Talk about putting that song together.
So it fallen low key was I was on a binge watch of Lucifer on Netflix, and it just kind of like dawned on me. So I kind of started messing around, and my homeboy Prolific sent me a beat off the random, and it just fit. And I went outside, smoked a cigarette, and came to mind.
It's got a nice feel to it as well. Um, it's got a nice feel to it. I definitely enjoyed that song. You definitely be on the grind for a long time, and that's before I interview you. Obviously, like I remember the 5 a.m. joint came out, and I
Oh
heard that
yeah,
song a lot, and that was a dope joint. So I
thank you.
definitely enjoyed that, and definitely been a fan of yours for quite some time. And you're doing your thing, out here in Missouri. So you
Oh
definitely
yeah, it
representing.
was. Yeah, it's been interesting. Like the last little couple months has been a lot more hectic than usual. So I've been kind of writing sporadically, but right now I got a couple more tracks I'm getting ready to release as well. Um, like Fallen, Bobby James, all kind of fell within a series to me as I was writing. So it's gonna end up being like a mini EP that might get released at the end of it.
Okay, so we'll definitely keep an eye on that. So he's still grinding, still putting out that music, and y'all
Oh
keep an
yeah,
eye on that for sure. So,
yeah, yeah.
and with Missouri, I live in Kentucky, you live in Missouri. Obviously, some states have already like loosened up on the restrictions here and there. Um, what's it like out there in Missouri as far as the restrictions and stuff like that? What's it like out there?
So far, like the restrictions, they've pretty much been the same up until recently. You know, mask everywhere. Like I said, they just recently released lifted the mask mandate, so everybody's going out to Walmart now. CVS is doing walk-in COVID shots. So if you ain't vaccinated in Missouri, should probably do that. Please, thank you. But excuse me. But that's basically what's been going on as far as mandates. Though they haven't really tripped too hard. There's still not too many events happening yet, just because places are still getting open and trying to figure out how they want to do that. But for the most part, restaurant-wise, barbershops are open, doctors' offices are open for the most part. Like everybody just kept moving.
Yeah, it definitely feels like, depending on state you live in, some places have, well, some states have already loosened restrictions and lifted mask mandates here and there. So, some, are just getting things back to some normalcy already, and some are just have to wait a little bit. Uh, but at least, things look a bit more encouraging now than it was last year when you literally couldn't do anything unless you go to the grocery stores and buy hand sanitizers and face masks and
Right.
such. Um, so at least things are starting to look up, and hopefully, Missouri, things will get a lot better, and more of these concerts and get large gatherings and such, will be happening in the summer. Um, so it's
Oh yeah, because I'm already booked for one in the end of August out in Columbia, Missouri.
all right.
So
So,
it's definitely starting to go up, man. Like people are starting to get out a lot more.
okay, so now I want to talk from a hip hop artist perspective. As far as you as not just as an artist, but you listen to hip hop as well. Um, in your opinion, obviously, who are some of your favorite artists that's out there right now? Whether it's mainstream or whether it's local in Missouri or independent, who's gotten your attention from an artist perspective?
Man, like I don't know. J. Cole's new album just dropped, and that was crazy. So it kind of messed me up for a second. But cats like Denzel Curry is crazy. Like makes really dope music. Who else? Roddy Ricch. Everybody knows that, so it's not like it's something that's like secretive. But there hasn't really been too many cats that I haven't already been listening to. You know, like nobody really new has popped up that has gotten like my full undivided attention like that. Like, mm, unless you count like 42 Dub, because your shit slaps.
Like, I will say I like the J Cole album. He definitely took his time putting that album out, and it's debuted. While he's out there playing basketball in Africa somewhere, the album went number one. His album just went number one on the Billboard charts. So
Right, like
you got you got a lot of rappers that talk about balling and hooping, and here's J. Cole doing it on the pro level. Granted, it's not NBA or anything, but it's still pro basketball nonetheless in Africa. And
exactly, like
he's
it's still a check.
yeah,
He still
it's
gets paid to play basketball. Like
yeah, and he's getting paid
among
literally.
doing everything else, like like that's crazy.
Yeah, so feels like Master P. He played pro basketball back in the day, and I'm like,
Right,
man,
like
he
he
really
played
did.
for the Hornets and the Raptors, didn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. Especially the Raptors. I do remember him playing for the
Yeah,
Raptors. So,
I think he was
uh,
like he might have been like practice squad for the Hornets.
yeah, yeah, probably so. Um, yeah, it was definitely the Hornets and the Raptors because they were the Hornets, then they were the Bobcats, and now they're the Hornets again.
Hmm.
Uh, so,
Yeah.
so things are looking up for Cole. There's some artists here and there that's gonna get people's
Oh
attention.
yeah.
I like Roddy Ricch. He's definitely making a name for himself. Uh, and I look
Yeah,
forward to
like I
hearing what he's
mean,
got next.
like this cat's like the baby, like little baby, like you already know they're killing it. So there's no way like niggas aren't listening to them.
Yeah,
I feel like it's kind of redundant, to say like, yeah, this is what I'm listening to now because
right.
they're everywhere. Like, you can't avoid them.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Like,
All the radio
like that.
stations, your local stations,
Exactly, bro.
they're there. So you know,
They're like
you
that's man. Mm,
yeah. So you can even listen to like the internet radio stations. You're gonna hear them there too. Like they there.
exactly, bro.
So it's can't knock the hustle, I guess.
At all, bro. You gotta respect it, especially
Yeah,
when the music dope.
yeah. It's the hard work. It's the dedication. It's working on the craft and just and they're making a name for themselves. They're getting Grammy nominations and trophies and stuff too. So that's
Oh yeah.
so and they're
And
not gonna
it's all about how you play it.
yeah they're not gonna slow down anytime soon neither. Especially with
Mm-mm.
people are starting to perform again. You've seen
Oh yeah.
artists putting together tours either for later this year or sometime next year. So a lot of
And I think
people are
I think
planning on
that's what's gonna like. I think with the shows starting up soon too, that's gonna change a lot. I think we're gonna start hearing a lot of different people just magically appear
yeah
like out of the ether. Because you gotta think about it. The more shows that are starting to happen, you might
yeah
have some little shows here and there that start turning into some big shows in a heartbeat.
yeah
So I'm definitely curious to see what the end of this year brings because I think something very interesting is about to happen.
yeah pretty much. It's like with these businesses and corporations and such, they're not going to want to go through another year just doing literally nothing. I feel like when
Hmm.
people have come to the point that not everybody's going to be vaccinated, so you either get things back up and running, or you're going to lose a lot of money, or you're going to be running out of business. So you got to do what you got
Exactly.
to do. So I
And I
can't,
think
you can't fault
and I
them
think with
for
the fact that like you being vaccinated and the people that aren't vaccinated really the only people they hurting is themselves. Like so
yeah, yeah.
yeah, like
So
things are about to start getting real interesting.
you're
There's gonna
right,
be a
man.
lot of people going outside, so that's what I'm looking forward to. Like I got a lot of things I'm gearing up with this summer, solely because people can go back outside.
Absolutely, man. Check out Smitty the Kid's songs, Bobby
Yes, sir.
James and Fallen. Both of those songs can be heard on all digital music platforms. Go check them
Absolutely.
out. He's got a show coming up in August. You can check him out on all the social media sites as well: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. He'll keep y'all posted for more shows and more music that's on the way. But until then, go keep them numbers up for Bobby James and the Fallen Joints. Keep them streaming.
Absolutely.
Keep them up.
Let's go.
So it's great chatting with you, Smitty. Appreciate you taking the time. Great to have you back on. Look forward to seeing you getting back to doing what you're doing, getting back to the performing aspect. And you take care. Continue to be safe, and who knows? Maybe we'll cross paths in the future.